Hey there, I'm Amy from thecrazycraftlady.com. Welcome back to week 5 in my 25 crafts to Christmas countdown. Today we are making wood round ornaments. So I purchased these little wood rounds. They came in like a big old pack of them. They're all about 4 inches wide, give or take. The nice thing about these is they have the hole drilled in the top already, so you can hang them. And the set that I purchased, and I'll link to it, came with a bundle of twine hangers. So buy these at the craft store, buy them online, whatever you want, just unfinished wood rounds for crafting. Then you're also going to need assorted paintbrushes, painter's tape, masking tape, and nonstick scissors, and then whatever paint colors you want. So I'm going to do a red and white buffalo plaid pattern and a black and white buffalo plaid pattern. So you'll definitely need white. These are all Deco Art Americana colors. This is Snow White. And then for the red and the white one, I'm using primary red and deep burgundy. So you want like a red and then like a darker red. And then for the black and white, I'm using slate gray and lamp or ebony black. So for the black and white, you want like a gray, like probably a darker gray, and then a black or even like a charcoal gray. So with that, let's get started and let's get making. Okay, first things first, you're going to want to start with your unfinished wood rounds, and you're going to paint a buffalo plaid, buffalo check pattern on them. I already did my red ones here, but I'm going to show you how to do it with black and white. If you've never done this before, it's super duper easy. So you're going to want to have 3 brushes that are flat, ranging in about, I don't know, a ½ inch to a ¼ inch wide. And so with each step, we're going to move down a size in paintbrush. So I'm going to start with my largest one and use my white craft paint. You can use whatever craft paint you want. I just happen to use Americana Deco Art. This is Snow White. And you're going to start by painting all the way around the edges and get right up to the bark and then stop and then smooth in. You want to have as few like paint ridges and lines, so try to get like a nice smooth coat. But I'm just going to speed this up and I'm going to paint this whole thing white until it looks like this guy. Okay, so I've got a few of these painted. The nice thing, if you work like in assembly line style, by the time you're ready to move on to step 2, the first wood round that you painted white should be pretty dry. But I'm just going to take this one and I'm going to mark it off with masking tape. So you don't want to have like paint lines, because on this wood you're not going to get perfect clean lines, but you just want to use the tape as a guide when you paint your first set of cross lines. And so I just use masking tape and I cut it in half. And I love these Fiskars, Fiskars titanium nonstick scissors. Game changer. I was like, I kind of thought that they'd be like a gimmick, like nonstick skillets that work for a little bit and then you're over it. But no, I really have been happy with my nonstick scissors, and I use them always when I'm cutting tape. So just cut a few pieces of this painter's tape in half to set up your first grid line. Okay, so this doesn't have to be perfectly evenly spaced, and you could toy around with cutting the tape into thirds, into quarters, whatever floats your boat. But then I'm going to use my dark gray paint, slate gray, and I'm going to paint my first set of cross lines. So like I said, this is not like, you don't want paint lines, so you're not going to be painting over the tape, you're just going to use the tape as a guide. So what I do is I do like the perimeter, so I do down one long end, just going to paint, and it doesn't have to be perfect coverage. And then I rotate, and I get right up to the bark here. And then I rotate again and paint down. And rotate one final time. Finish off this short end, get it as close to the bark as you can, and then fill it in. And then I'm just going to repeat that process 1, 2, and then a half more times. Okay, so those are painted, and then you can just peel your tape right off and throw it away. Now, if you wanted to wait for this to dry before you painted your vertical lines, you can do that. I am not that much of a perfectionist, so I'm going to go ahead and just paint my vertical lines as is. I like to use the tape just to get me set up with my horizontal lines, just so I know that those are evenly spaced and look good. And then I feel like I can eyeball it pretty well when I do my vertical lines. And so what I do is I will just kind of start somewhere in the middle and try to go like at a 90-degree angle to what I've already got going on and just trace a line across. Okay, and see, that's like super crooked, so I'm going to fix that. And that's why you just start with like a really thin line. There we go. And then I'll flip it over the other way and try to just kind of match the thickness of the horizontal lines that you've already got going on. Go right up to the bark here, like you did before, and then finish filling in with vertical lines. Okay, so that's finished, and then I'm going to just fill in all of the cross sections. So wherever my lines overlap, you want to fill it in with a darker shade of whatever you got going on. So like on this one, I had the light red, and then it's harder to see on this, but I did the dark red in the middle. And then for this, I'm just going to use black. So I like to use this flat brush so that I start in a square, and I'll start in the corner. And I'll do like that. And then I'll do the other side and kind of have it meet in the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect, but then just fill in everywhere you have two lines that cross, fill it in with your darker color. Alright, and that, my friends, is how you quickly and easily paint a buffalo plaid pattern on really any craft you want. We're just doing ornaments today. Okay, so now that my paint has totally dried, it's time to decorate these little buffalo plaid surfaces, and I'm going to show you two different ways to do that. And for this, I used my Cricut. So feel free to like paint or freehand or do whatever you want. I don't use my Cricut that often because I know not everyone has one, but I thought it'd be fun to give that a go on this project. So for the red ones, I got black adhesive vinyl, and I just went into Cricut Design Space and I cut out like these script words. Like I didn't even like type these. I just searched within images, and you can usually find some pretty cute little words that are already like spaced correctly and everything, so you don't have to deal with like welding and like nudging and all that jazz. So then just transfer. So this is Oracle 631. It was just black in my craft stash. I wasn't really picky about what kind of vinyl. And then you're just going to transfer it onto your ornament. This one's a little small, so I think I'm going to put this one on. Oh yeah, that's just the right size. So kind of space it evenly. Smooth it down. And there you have a little word on your red and black, or red and white background. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer the rest of these. There we go. And then for the black and white ones, I actually cut out like silhouettes of evergreen trees onto adhesive stencil vinyl. So it's just like temporary adhesive, but it's stencil material. And so for what I'm going to do on this one is I'm just going to set my Christmas tree. I cut these a little big. I may recut my other ones a little smaller. Okay, so set that on there. And you want to make sure that you have enough stencil material around this that as you're pouncing, you don't, like if this were a very narrow border, you'd end up with like probably bleed over. And it would be a big old mess, and you don't want that. So then I'm just going to take a little bit of green paint. I'm going to use like 2 different shades of green. This is avocado, and this is forest green. And then just brown, burnt umber, whatever brown you got. So I have this pouncer brush, and then just like a regular brush. So I'm going to start by just a little bit filling in the tree trunk, and then I'm kind of like the trunk. And then this is just kind of like a matter of personal preference. Fill this in however you want. I like to do like the avocado green first. And then fill it in with the brighter green. Just kind of layer it. But make sure you get all the way up to the edges and that you're pouncing straight up and down. And that's going to minimize the bleed that you get on the edges. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little tiny bit of white because I want it to look kind of like snow covered. So there we go. Like super, super duper easy. And then all you have to do is peel away the stencil and you have a Christmas tree. And so that's like my lazy, like if you're good at painting Christmas trees, like more power to you. This is just kind of like my lazy method for getting a little painted Christmas tree. But I'm going to finish the rest of these, and then, like I said, my little ornaments came with twine ties. So I'm going to use these, but you could use ribbon or twine or whatever you want to hang these ornaments. But here are my finished little buffalo plaid ornaments. I'm really, really happy with how these turned out. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Until next time, happy making!